So it looks like eBay is going to have to pay out to a couple who were sent, I kid you not, we talked about this, sent insects, a fetal pig, and a bloody pig mask by eBay staff. eBay
We did
staff.
a video on this before. We did, yeah.
Yeah, so there were people at eBay that were sending these people threats because they were critical of the marketplace. So if you think that these studios and these corporations, going after YouTubers or going after, their critics on social media, if you think it's insane they would never do that, think again, because this proves the links that people will go to save their reputation, even if it breaks the law. So, before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
If you'd like to listen to the audio version of Clownfish TV, go out to iTunes, Spotify, iHeartMusic, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Look for Clownfish TV podcasts, and we are there. We are there. So they have to pay $56 million because they sent these people a fetal pig. This comes from Wired. They said it was an unhinged harassment campaign. They said for months on end, eBay employees and contractors made life hell for a couple that had criticized the company. 6 years later, the company is finally paying up. Now,
it was going to court before when we covered it last time.
Yeah, so they're settling because they don't want to go to court. Because if it goes to court, I think some really not so good things are going to come out, and then the GameStop CEO is going to be like, "Oh, hot damn, I can use this. Their stock's dropping. I can use this." No, but like I would love to see, and this is probably why they sold with Gina Carano too at Lucasfilm. I would love to see what was going on behind the scenes at Lucasfilm, because I am 100% convinced that there were some shenanigans perpetrated by Lucasfilm employees to smear YouTubers and critics of their
100%.
Star Wars stuff.
Well, we already know that Rewriting Ripley, they were like people that were associated with Lucasfilm before.
Yeah. Yep.
And things like that. 100% they were.
Yeah, so they try to, like grassroots hate campaigns or whatever. And, well, same thing happened with Supergirl, too. Anybody that was critical of the Supergirl trailer would get dogpiled on social media. They would target you like by bots. Yeah, bots or paid bad actors or whatever. Because they're trying to salvage the movie. So they knew things were not going well for them. So they're like, well, shit, we'll spend, $100,000 on a smear campaign to smear the critics, and then the movie crashed and burned at the box office. Anyway, this comes from Wired. A civil litigation case against eBay filed by the founders of a Massachusetts-based news site that covers e-commerce has just been settled. The gist of it, the company and former executives have to own up to and pay for perhaps the most disturbing harassment campaign ever led by a giant tech company against its critics.
Basically, I'll just sum it up for you. Basically, what they did was they wrote some articles that were not making eBay look good.
Right.
Like, there was a husband and wife. They had that news site, that e-commerce bites, and they wrote about eBay all the time, and they often didn't say nice things about it.
Right.
So as a result, these people that were higher ups in eBay got together and got some outside people too, and they all were like harassing these people. Like doxing, like sending like terrible things to them, trying to do stuff that their neighbors would think they were bad people.
Yes.
It was just a whole ordeal.
Yep. And again, these are people that literally worked at eBay who are trying to mitigate the damage
because they wrote some articles they didn't like.
So if you think for a minute that these big corporations, these big studios are above smear campaigns to go after their critics, He-Man, if you think that they won't go after you or or put people up to going after you to save face, you are sorely mistaken. Sorely mistaken, because there are people's jobs on the line. So they'll do it, even if they use a proxy to go after you, like they won't go after you to your face, but
we talk about in Hollywood how they have these people that you could hire to go do this shit for you.
Yes, there are agencies out there, agents out there that will do horrible things to people, smear their reputation, create entire fake website. I guess Rebel Wilson was involved in some lawsuit or something that it went down this path, but they'll create entire websites devoted to attacking and smearing you because they know they can manipulate Google. And that's what happens. I'm convinced a lot of the trolling on social media could be from corporations trying to make people look bad. It's crazy. Anyway, they said the civil litigation case reached a final settlement. The Steiners will receive more than $46 million from eBay, $2 million from former eBay CEO Devin Wenig, $500,000 from former eBay executive Wendy Jones, and $50,000 from former eBay executive Steve Weimer. They're the people that they said were involved. eBay is also giving $6 million to charity. What charity would that be? The like, do not send dead pigs to people charity? I mean,
Yeah, I know, something like that. Yeah.
Is that a thing? Unless it's like, pork chops. I don't know. With the additional $1 million from
Called
Wenig,
Don't Squeal.
Don't squeal. There we go. Please don't squeal. Right. With an additional $1 million from Wenig going to a nonprofit that protects First Amendment rights. Wow. The company is required to issue a strongly worded statement condemning the actions of the former employees who were involved. Notably, the settlement contains no confidentiality provision, which means the Steiners can continue to speak out against the case. A lot of times, what happens is if they settle with you, you're not allowed to talk about it.
Yes. But it's interesting that they want all that and no confidentiality agreement. That is very interesting.
They said that was a deal breaker, said Chris Murphy, an attorney for the Steiners. As journalists and victims, the Steiners were very clear that they wanted everyone to see and understand what eBay did to them. And from day one, they were ready to go to trial over it.
Yes, so, that's just it. You need to be able to do that because we've had that happen. We had the case with our ex-partner who tried to cause us trouble. Deliberately, you tried to trademark the name that they knew belonged to us. And then they were like, well, we'll drop it if you promise not to talk about us ever. And it's like, fuck no. And I mean, it might have cost us $15,000, but we were like, fuck no, you're not going to not talk about it, you dumb cow. And here we are.
Yeah, there's one thing about us is like, don't threaten us because we do.
I did warn her. I did tell her. It's like, she thought you were so nice and everything. I'm like, he is, unless you wrong him. And if you wrong him, he'll get you. It might take him a long time, but he will never get over it. Like, I burn hot, but I get over it quick. Not Kneon. Like, he will make sure you go down at some point in time.
My feeling in this with anybody who threatens you, especially if they threaten you with litigation, is they are your enemy. They've made it very clear that they intend to harm you, and it's the law of the jungle. If somebody says, I'm going to eat you, you need to take them out of play. It's as simple as that. I mean, that's business, man. That's business.
See also his asshole video about Hollywood. Anyway,
it's a personal, it's just business. If you come at me, we're going to have a problem. They said it's a relief in some sense that we have some finality, David Steiner said in an interview with Wired. But I think it's going to take a while to really see what this means in the bigger context of a settlement versus having gone to trial. We were really adamant that this type of behavior by a Fortune 500 corporation didn't go unchecked.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can't imagine like what they went through.
I can, but not to this level. I mean, we've had some really weird shit around certain IP.
Yeah, but this is insane.
But this is like again, fetal pigs and insects at your house and all that's insane. Ina Steiner,
because you wrote some nasty articles.
Ina Steiner underscored that the couple ultimately pursued a civil suit because they wanted to better understand the kind of culture that precipitated the harassment campaign. Yeah, why would anybody think this is okay? Why would they think?
Especially when they're representing a big company like eBay.
It's insane. I mean, literally, the person that did this needs to have some mental evaluation because I think they're like a psychopath or something.
Well, I love the way these people think because they did this in such a way. So one, they couldn't be told to shut up. And two, they gained access to the 68,000 documents they wouldn't have otherwise got access to. So they did it the way they did it just to make sure they could find out what the hell went down.
Yeah, I would like to know too. That's my thing too. Is like I want to know the logic behind people's decisions. Like, why were you such an idiot? Why did you do that? Why did you try to cause us harm? Why did you? And sometimes it doesn't make sense, and that's a problem. Like I'm a very logical person, and so for me, everything has to kind of fit into the neat little box, or I will kind of obsess about it. Like I don't understand why this doesn't work.
It's true. He does.
And sometimes people are just crazy and there's like nothing and I have a hard time wrapping my head around like just purely emotional, nonsensical reactions.
I'm the opposite. Like I can literally be with someone for a few minutes and I get a pretty good read on them and I can tell whether or not they're scammy AF. And there's some people that I immediately didn't trust that Kneon did trust and he wishes he hadn't now. But I told him
because I looked at logically. I looked at them like they're logical people.
No one would do that. And I'm like, that's what they're going to do. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's smart of them because they're like, if we had done a federal suit, you wouldn't have been allowed to see what was, what went down.
Right.
But during the civil suit, they're allowed to see all the information so they can see what the heck happened. I think that's smart.
Spokespersons for eBay referred Wired to a statement published online in which the company extended its deepest apologies to the Steiners, condemned the employees who perpetuated and pled guilty to criminal charges for the misconducts against the Steiners, acknowledged the unprofessional tone and internal communications demonstrated to different degrees in number by Mr. Wenig, Mr. Weimer, and Ms. Jones. The company emphasized the new leadership is now in charge and that the incidents from 2019 are not representative of eBay's culture or thousands of employees around the world today. Well, maybe somebody should just buy them out.
I think that if the GameStop guy bought them, they're just going to destroy eBay.
Oh yeah, I think at this point it's just But this is.
I think that they're going to ruin it. So I'd rather they didn't.
Not gonna help their stock at all, though. I mean, because this keeps coming up. This was like 6 years ago, and all these headlines are like, "Wow, eBay. If you piss them off, they'll send dead pigs to your house."
Well, listen, this is what this in case you didn't hear other video. This is what they did. The harassment campaign led by eBay executives and contractors took 2 months in the summer of 2018. Anonymous threatening Twitter DMs, then escalated to deliveries, including a bloody pig mask, pornography, a package of fly larvae and live spiders, and another package containing live cockroaches. The others were deliveries were around death, including a copy of a book about grieving a spouse being dead, a funeral wreath, which would indicate death threats. From a local forest, all thought throughout the anonymous Twitter account continued to send harassing messages. Those DMs and deliveries were concocted and sent by the defendants. They found that out through the court case and stuff.
So let me bring this back to YouTubers being harassed and threatened, and these weird death threats that seem to come out of nowhere. But it's usually always about, like, if you're critical of a company or a movie or something, all of a sudden these rando accounts come out of nowhere.
It gets worse, though.
Okay.
You didn't think it could get worse. It got worse.
Okay.
So eventually eBay workers turned it to a person in surveillance. They tailed the couple in a rented Dodge Caravan, which I did remember talking about. Yes. They also listed classified ads on Craigslist for swinger party, a threesome, and a block sale and estate sale, all at their home address. And an emergency plumber was sent to the home. Once the couple alerted the police department, they told the feds, and they eased up on their campaign and scrambled to cover up their actions. But they went as far as going to where they lived in a rented vehicle to survey and harass them, and then did all those things about with their address, trying to send people over. This is how far they went, because they wrote some articles that were critical of eBay. And I would like to say this is insane, but I got a rate poll out there about me because I didn't like the Revelations show from He-Man.
They're like, I'm not gonna put anybody on blast in particular, but there was a lot of weirdness during the whole Masters of the Universe thing, and unfortunately we had
the She-Ra thing too was weird.
Yeah, and She-Ra thing too, but we had a situation this week that kind of rekindled a lot of really unpleasant memories. I mean, for those people out there who think that we got off on that whole Masters of the Universe Kevin Smith thing, it's like that was literally like one of the worst years I think we've ever had. But we had a lot of weird shit
over a tweet.
Over a tweet. Even on the channel here, when we cover certain topics or certain movies or certain, cartoons or comic books or whatever it is, when we start to see an inordinate amount of backlash, and it seems to come from like all over the place, and there's a lot of like anonymous people, and you're getting, some weird shit all happening at once, you start to wonder if there isn't some element behind it, that it's all coordinated. Mm-hmm. But this is shocking that the eBay CEO said he was the one. He wasn't the one who participated in all of this, but he did give them the order to take her down, take the woman down.
Mm-hmm. So the whole thing is just messed up because she wrote some articles they didn't like. Because we had an opinion about a show that they didn't like, because you put a tweet up about what we heard. This whatever idiocy. That's all it takes to get people to like be so mad at you that they're willing to go to extreme lengths. And we never had anybody go to this extreme. This is insane.
No. Thank God we never did. But there are other people that I really think that them getting, maybe blocked from conventions or whatever, a lot of it stems from somebody getting pissed off at.
Well,
on a
didn't
corporate
Yellow
level.
Flash get like something sent to him to track him to his house?
Oh yeah, no, I think somebody sent a cell phone to his house or
Or
something.
sent it to like his PO box so they could track him to his house or something. I don't remember exact details.
We-
but it was nuts.
We had so this is why we were kind of like during the whole a lot of the different things we were involved in, we were getting weird packages sent to us, but it turned out that it was actually innocuous, that it was somebody who wasn't. But we had to get the Fed involved, we had to get the local police involved, because we're like, we don't know what the intentions are. And again, it's been our experience. It usually happens around certain hot button topics. And they try to say, oh, it's just a bunch of crazy stands. This makes me wonder now. Is it crazy fans, or is it crazy fans being weaponized by a corporate entity to
Oh, I
protect
know.
their brand?
Number two, I think number two was what happened with around the whole Revelation thing. But that's
I
that's
think
my
it was
personal opinion. But anyway,
personal opinion is there were some corporate machinations behind that. And then I think they take advantage of, this is why we had people on Twitter that were going after comics people and stuff like that. I think they take advantage of people that are very willing to stand for their whatever, but they use them because that person can't do it directly. So
they're useful idiots.
Useful idiots. But this is the lawyer. The lawyer said he believes it's the first time this has been or this kind of case has been allowed in Massachusetts, and it sets a new precedent for harassment campaigns that originate from other states. So I think this is
them for like holding their ground and making sure it becomes a moment like this.
I do wish. I completely understand why Gina Carano took the settlement, because she just wanted to clear her name and move on. But God, there's part of me that like I really would have loved to see the books cracked open on Lucasfilm.
Yes, I agree. A lot of us would have, but the flip side is we're not the ones that have to live.
We're not the one. That's what people understand, and that's what I was going to say.
It's not an easy thing. It's very difficult. It's very tiresome. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy. You just want it to be over so you can move on. You get to a point where just like, I just want to move on from this. And I can understand completely why she said, you know what, let's just take the money, mend fences, and move on. I get it. I totally get it.
As the person involved, but I do wonder if a day isn't going to come where there's going to be a lawsuit where we're going to find out that, hey, remember all that weird shit that happened like 10 years ago? Well, that came from the top. We actually have an email from the CEO of this company, giving people marching orders to go take out these social media people or whatever. And I think that day
surprise me.
That day will come eventually. So very interesting stuff. You got anything you want to add to this?
No, I'm just glad that it got resolved. And I'm kind of like, proud of these people these Steiners, because they could have taken an easier way out. They deliberately went the harder way because they wanted the stuff to be brought to light. They wanted changes to be made. They wanted to be able to see what exactly was done to them, not just what they'd be told by the feds. And I think that's brave. That's a lot of challenges go along with it that could have blew up in their faces, and I'm really glad that it worked out for them the way it did.
$56 million, but you're gonna
don't be a fucking asshole.
Yeah, don't be an asshole.
Over
anyway,
articles that you don't like, or
maybe
a video or whatever.
Yeah, maybe this will send a message to these companies like fuck around, find out. That's
the
eBay
fact
did
that
it.
they thought it was completely okay to do this, and even to go as far as renting a van to tail them. Or whatever. That's insane. It's like, that is just batshittery on a whole nother level. Who cares if they wrote articles about eBay not being great? Who the fuck cares? It really, in the grand scheme of things, wasn't hurting them in any way, shape, or form. Other than that, they personally got mad about it.
All right, so we got to wrap it up.
Yes.
Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.